Welcome back to part 2 of this unofficial video series and getting my Transalp adventure ready. In part 1, you could see me upgrade the LED for a more modern look and better visibility at night, most important. And in this part 2, I will show you how to attach the panniers for your bags and the crash bars for your falls. So yeah, let's go. First, let's unpack the order we got from Heavy Duties. They were nicely protected during shipping, although there were little blemishes here and there. Then again, it's crash bars, that's what they're for. Anyways, onto the bike. To get to where we need to be, we first must take away this radiator guard. At least, I think that's what it's called. This is pretty easily done by just taking out 2 plastic bolts and then unclipping it from where it's clipped. One of these lines is in the way, so just let it hang there. Next up is taking out this really long bolt which also has the horn attached to it, or as we call it in Dutch, the beeper. We do have a new screw and bolt that go in here, however I think it's best practice that when you take something out, you just keep it together. Next up are this ridge looking thing, I don't know the exact wording guys, and this bolt and nut. It works best when you already somewhat pre-assemble the horn and this bridge thing together before you start putting it inside the bike. It's a bit of an awkward angle to be working like this, and you can see me struggle here as well, but it gets much easier once you put one of your hands through the hole in the side of this fairing. Once you've got the bolt through, put the nut on the other side, fasten it, just fasten it in a way that it stays in place but it can still move because we still have to adjust this later in the video. Then it's time to disassemble this black plate with these large C-shaped blocks on it, which, due to the power of editing, only took me a few seconds. What you're seeing here is the result of many frustrating attempts to get this right, but either the blocks would fall out or the plate wouldn't catch, all of these things. So I found that the easiest way to do this is actually put in a C-shaped block behind the bar where it's supposed to go, attach the black plate loosely, then do the same on the other side, fasten it, but just like the ones at the bottom, fasten it so it doesn't fall out, and you can still kind of move it around because we also still have to adjust this later in the video. Then it's time to finally start putting the crash bars on. So screw them in, and don't make the mistake that I made. Just screw them in just so they don't fall off, but they are still very loosely and movable, because otherwise later around the foot pegs you will run into some issues and have to loosen them again. Oh, and before I forget, really don't forget to put the washers in between the screws. I forgot it, had to do it again. Bummer, but hey, we're learning. Then we're on to this next screw. I have to warn you, this one is in very tight. It took me a good huffing, puffing, blood, sweat and tears in a few minutes to take this one out, but as you can see in this video, I got it out in the end. Just be prepared. This screw we keep because we have to reuse it and put it back in. If you cannot get the crash bar to line up with the bike and the screw isn't able to go in, just check at the front to see if your screws are loose enough to move around the crash bars a bit more. If it still doesn't work, take out 1 or maybe 2 screws at the front and then try again. Once everything does fit, screw a bit more tightly but still not completely, and head over to the other side to start your battle with the other screw. Once this one is loose as well, just do the same as on the other side. Now it's time to get in front of your bike and see if the crash bars are aligned nicely. If not, do make some adjustments. If they are, it's time to fasten them tight. I'm not sure if there's a right way to do this. I did the front ones first and then the back ones. Once everything's fastened up and it feels solid, it's time to put this plastic radiator guard back. It really took me a long time and it was very frustrating, even so that I forgot to film it. I had to make cuts in it at the bottom so it would fit because of this new bridge thing was taking up some more space than anticipated, but I made a picture of the end result, which isn't pretty, but I guess it worked. Moving on to the panniers, on the exhaust side you have to take the fairing off. My screw holes are broken, so easy job here for me. Knowing where these panniers are actually going to go in and which holes they have to fit is very important, so I'm going to lay it out here with some arrows. There's going to go screws in here, here, and here. Feel free to go back to this frame or pause it at some point when you forgot where you actually needed to go. This will save you the time of having to fit the panniers against the bike every time, like me, because I have the memory of a fish. To get the first screw in also means taking one out. We're going to do that here with this screw. Because these screws get wet all the time, might be a bit stuck in there, get some WD-40 and it should do the trick. Because, like many other screws on my bike, the middle one was missing, we're going to go straight on to the one that is near the foot pegs. Both of these screws you get out of here we don't need anymore, because Heavy Duties has provided new screws for this. When you put this bolt in, again, don't forget to put the washer on it. Very loosely put the nut on this bolt, just so it doesn't fall off. Heavy Duties will provide you with this longer screw. It doesn't work on my bike because there's like a plastic handrail for the passenger and it's not on my bike. So I just went to the hardware store and picked up a little bit shorter one. Again, put it in, put the nut on, but loosely. For the next step, Heavy Duties has provided spacers, but in two sizes. For this side, you want to take the large one. You take this other long screw provided by Heavy Duties, and you just screw them there. For a change, this screw you can fasten straight away completely. After that, you start tightening the rest as well. After everything's tightly screwed, give it a rip and it should be sturdy. On the other side of the bike, it's exactly the same screws, although this one gave me a bit of trouble. Also, for some reason, I already put the new bolt in after I took it out. Since on this side the middle screw wasn't missing, you can now see me take it out here. Then onto the last screw and time to fit the pannier. On this side of the bike, somehow the pannier was a bit harder to get into place, either at the bottom screw or the top screw, depending on which you would fasten first. I'm not actually sure what caused it. I don't think my frames bent, because one of my friends who has exactly the same bike and we ordered the panniers at the same time had exactly the same problem on this side as well. But with some elbow grease and some tough love, it slides right into place. Once everything's securely fastened again, do a check to see here as well if it's sturdy. The last part we have to attach is this crossbar. Kind of speaks for itself, but here's some footage of me doing it. Put the fairing back, and if you still have proper screw holes to screws as well, take a step back and realize you didn't need to take off the fairing in the first place. I think Heavy Duty says so because of this plastic passenger handguard thing that I don't have. With everything done, let's see the end results. All in all, I'm very happy with the result. Makes the bike look a lot more adventurous and actually protects me when falling down. Next step, bag shopping.